Even if you have no idea what the Darkstalkers series is, you have undoubtedly seen this character before. Morrigan has been depicted and cosplayed more than any other Capcom character. But unlike Chun Li and the Street Fighter series, surprisingly few people know where she comes from, that being a series of fighting games known as Darkstalkers in the West and Vampire the Night Warriors in Japan. This series is essentially a Street Fighter 2 type fighting game, with characters based on horror and monster movies. When the original Darkstalkers was planned, Capcom wanted to have 2 female characters in the game, one sexy Catwoman and one cute vampire. Since the roster already had a vampire in Dimitri, the female vampire was changed into a succubus instead. You can still see some of that vampiric inspiration in Morrigan's design today, with her wings changing into bats. Succubi were actually not that well known in Japan when Morrigan was first designed. This led to Morrigan's design being the inspiration for several other succubi appearing in Japanese franchises, including the boss in Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Morrigan's iconic design has made her even more popular than the series she came from. She has appeared in other games more than any other character from the Darkstalkers series, either as a playable character or cameo. Her costume has also appeared in several other games. Although Morrigan has sometimes been depicted as evil, especially in the horrendous short-run American Darkstalkers cartoon, as well as the Udon comics, she doesn't really appear that way in the original games. Instead, she appears to be quite friendly, though she is also very playful and sultry. Her design is quite unique as she has thin bat-like wings coming out of her back, along with smaller wings coming out of her head. The cool thing about these wings is that they can change into a swarm of bats, a variety of weapons, as well as a jetpack that Morrigan can use to zoom across the screen. She can also use it to grab enemies mid-air and pile drive them face first into the ground, which just happens to be my favorite move of hers. She wears a black leotard with a heart shape beneath her cleavage, with her shoulders exposed. She also wears tights with a bat pattern on them, probably a leftover from her original vampiric design. She also wears black high-heeled boots. This design is probably the main reason for Morrigan's popularity, as she really stands out. But for those who actually played the games, her animation is a large part of her appeal as well. One interesting thing about her animation is that she never walks or runs. Instead, a group of bats form around her while she floats around. Instead of running, her wings turn into a jetpack, blasting her across the screen. The amount of care that was put into animating her is really astounding, and it is impressive even to this day. The care put into the animation is part of the reason why Darkstalkers still has an active player base today, although it is and always has been a niche series of games. In the Darkstalkers franchise, Morrigan is the adopted daughter of Belial Ainsland, who is the ruler of Makai, the demon realm. Belial saw that Morrigan was incredibly powerful, but that her powers might be disastrous for his kingdom, so he sealed parts of it away until she became older. One part of this power eventually takes on a mind of its own and takes the shape of Lilith, another fun Darkstalkers character. Morrigan starts off as carefree and playful, preferring not to take any responsibility. In Morrigan's ending in Vampire Savior or Darkstalkers 3, the final game so far in the series, Lilith reunited with Morrigan, giving Morrigan a new outlook on life, hinting that she will accept her responsibility as ruler of Makai. Morrigan is depicted as coming from Scotland, with her name taken from the Morrigan or Morrigu, a goddess from Irish mythology associated with war and fate foretelling death or victory in battle. Morrigan has been voiced by Yayoi Jinguji until 2011 in Japanese and by Rie Tanaka from then on. Yayoi Jinguji is the voice I'm familiar with, as she voiced her in the original games. When Morrigan appeared in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, however, her English voice was provided by Siobhan Flynn, pardon my pronunciation, in a Scottish accent. While this fits with the background of the character, it does give her a completely different feel from the Japanese version. In the games, Morrigan's playstyle is close to that of a Shoto character, meaning that she plays similar to Ken and Ryu from Street Fighter with a fireball and a dragon punch like move. This makes her quite easy to pick up. She is not the strongest character in any of the games, however, but there are still some higher level players who make her work. Another interesting thing about Morrigan is that the input needed to perform her darkness illusion skill is the same that was later used by Akuma in Street Fighter as the command for Shun Gokusatsu. Despite being one of the most popular characters Capcom has produced, she hasn't appeared in her own game nor in any Darkstalkers game since 1997. This is too bad, as Capcom could surely come up with a new game to put her in. If Darkstalkers ever does return though, I'm sure Morrigan will return as well. If you liked the video, give it a like, and to see more videos about Darkstalkers, click on this playlist. If you would like to support the channel, you could buy me a coffee by clicking on the link below.